I think other people have to believe in themselves to really make change. And I think there's a lot of people that can make changes. They just don't know it yet. And I think they need to hear it from people. And that's why, like, I'm glad we're doing this episode right now. If anyone's watching, like, they hear the hope and they see it, and it'd be great to see someone go for it. Because there's a lot of people out there that can.
I'm Beth Lesen, Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment at Cal State Long Beach. And this is Beach Peeps, a podcast about students, stories, and the interesting things happening on campus and beyond. Hi, Sonny.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, so we
Good.
know each other,
We know each other.
but people who are watching may not know who you are. So can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Sonny Ciampa, and I am a junior and a political science major. I have been born and raised in Long Beach my entire life, and that's been amazing to kind of see how Long Beach has grown over my time in my life. I'm currently serving as the ASI president, and that's just been a really big honor to meet different students and have the opportunity to advocate for our students during the time of the USU closure. And that's kind of a little bit about me, and yeah.
I didn't know that you were from Long Beach.
Been in Long Beach, love it my entire life.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I have a lot of questions for you, Sonny. One of the things that first of all, it's been such a pleasure to work with you as ASI president. You've been a really great president this year. You've been really earnest. You've really cared about students. Every opportunity you have, you are speaking up for students and their concerns. And you've taken this job very, very seriously, and you've been really good at it. So I really appreciate your service and your work for the students. One of the things that I will never forget is the speech that you made for convocation at the beginning of the year. You shared some pretty personal things, but you did it pretty publicly. So I feel like it's okay for me to ask you to share what you put in that speech, if that's all right.
Yes, of course. I actually, a fun fact about that speech is my first ever speech and like doing like a really big speech. It was my first ever one. And so that was crazy.
That was amazing. That was
Thank
the
you.
first time you
Thank
ever
you.
did that?
That was my first time I ever did a big speech
I would
like
never
that.
have guessed that,
Yeah.
Sonny. It was really good. It
Thank
was
you.
really good. I
Thank
think
you.
it was so powerful because you really spoke from your heart. Like you talked about things that were really important to you. It did not feel like the first time you ever did something like that.
I think it's great to tell different stories because students don't really get the opportunity to hear it all the time, or faculty or staff don't really get the opportunity. And so I remember writing the speech and kind of going through it, and I was like, oh gosh, this is a personal speech, but this is going to be a great speech for people to hear.
It was
And I
very
wanted to
personal.
make sure that it would be great for years to come. And
It
people would
was very
remember.
personal. And another thing that stuck out, and I would love for you to share a little bit about what you covered in that speech. When you were being sworn in at that ceremony, I met your mom, and I met her very briefly initially. I've talked with her a few times since then at different events, but that first time I met her very briefly, and she had tears. She was like all choked up, and she shook my hand, and then she gave me a hug. And I'll never forget, I said, I'm so proud of him. I'm excited to see him be sworn in as president. And very tearfully, she said, I was told he wouldn't even speak when he was little. And like my whole body, I felt like it was such a shock to hear that. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. My doctor, when I was born, and I talked to my mom about this, I remember talking to her about it a lot. They didn't believe that I would be able to speak at all because of my disability. They're like, oh, this kid is not going to develop. There's no way he can get help. And it just wouldn't be possible. So to see that now is crazy to look back on.
And
but
there
it's
you
true.
are on a
Yeah,
stage
speaking.
in front of all of these
Yeah.
people.
Mhm.
They were so wrong about
So
you.
wrong.
So wrong. So delightfully wrong. Can you share a little bit about what your journey has been like?
Yeah, so I actually started my life in kind of special ed, and I've been on the autism spectrum my entire life, and that's been quite a journey in itself. But I actually started in special education, and kind of like that belief that was always there that I wouldn't be able to succeed, I wouldn't really be able to move forward, and that's always been something plaguing me. And I remember going through the second grade, and my parents telling me about the IEP meeting they had, IEP meetings they have for students with disabilities, of course. And I remember them saying like, oh, that this student wouldn't be able to move forward. And then my mom was like constantly advocating, and my mom was like, no, he's ready to go to general ed now. And so she kept pushing that and pushing for me, and that eventually happened. My mom and father really pushed for that. And I remember going through, special education to general education down here at Mini Gant, the elementary school right here,
Right across
and
the
so I
street.
went from Lowell to Gant right here
Yeah.
across the street, so I've been here for a while, but I just remember that experience and having to do 2nd grade and that transition and how me getting into general ed really changed my life forever, and since
And
then, I've been building up to this.
because of
Yeah,
your parents'
because of my
advocacy.
parents' advocacy.
Because, like, experts
Mhm,
experts, quote, unquote, were
mhm.
telling them something very different,
Tough.
and your parents just knew that that wasn't right.
Yep.
That's incredible. And and it's not just that they were wrong, they were spectacularly wrong about you. Like, you're a high achieving student. And say again what your major is?
Political science.
And are you open to sharing how well you're doing in school?
Yeah, I actually last semester had straight A's, so that was a crazy semester for me. So yeah,
Like, I just
I
wanna
yeah.
laugh. Like, these are people who were like, "Oh, yeah, you probably shouldn't expect much of him academically. He may not even talk,
Yeah.
and you're a straight A student at a university, and you're the student body president."
It's crazy.
It is
It's
crazy.
crazy
I'm
because
glad
there's
you said that. It
there's
is.
other, kids out there that, are dealing with the same thing, and it's like, if they had more advocacy behind them, and this is something I might wanna do in my life, if they have more advocacy behind them, their parents advocating for them and understanding that they can actually succeed, they would be much better off, and I just think that people need to recognize that more. There needs to be more hope in this world for sure.
Oh, wow. You just said a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is scary to think about how many people don't have anyone pushing back and fighting when the prognosis is darker than it should be. What did what was that like for you as a kid?
I think it was hard because as a kid and I was around in society and a lot of people like they knew I was different and so I was bullied constantly. Like, that was my entire life. And I was lucky to like I have a friend group now. We're still friends my entire life. We built it off in middle school and we kind of like hung around each other because we were all like dealing with the same stuff and on the spectrums ourselves. But that was hard because students saw us as different and that was really hard to get through that. And people would always tell us like, "Oh, you're not gonna succeed. You're different. We don't like you for this reason." And I took that personally, like, a long time in my life. I was very insecure about it. I thought because I had a disability, I wouldn't be able to get through in life, and that would hold me back. And I think that just people in my life believing in me, students that I met here believing in me, my parents believing in me, really pushed me forward. And I remember, like, kind of going through, like, do I wanna do this? Do I wanna run for student body president? Do I wanna be in student government? Do I belong? Do I fit here? And I remember people telling me that you should go for it, and I just remember going like, "Okay, I'll try. I'll see what happens." And I kinda landed here, so
Who
yeah.
are some of the people who believed in you when you were still struggling to believe in yourself?
I think there were my friends that believed in me, which was very important to me. I think my family
Your middle
believed in
school
me. My
friends?
middle school friends that
Yeah.
I had through high school and now through college, like, we're still,
You're
like,
still
friends.
all
A lot of my
friends.
friends are here.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
amazing. So you all came
So,
here
we
together.
all came here together, and so, they were really helpful, but I think it was just me having to find believing in myself, and I found that me believing in myself came with consistency and kind of doing the same things, like repetitive things. Like, when I practice for speeches, I'll practice them, like, maybe 10 to 20 times before I understand it. And I find that the more I practice, the more confident that I get. And so I just think it was building up, like having the friends give me confidence, my parents give me confidence, but also just myself. I think I
So
needed to find my ground.
it was really important for you to have support. I'm trying to think to myself, there are a lot of people like you're a special story because a lot of people who get um underestimated and bullied don't rise up from that. A lot of people don't, and you did. And so I kind of want to know like what's the secret sauce? Like how did you come from being underestimated and being mistreated by people and come into your own in such an impressive way? And so what you're telling me is it's a lot of it has to do with the support that you had.
Mhm. A lot of it is support. I think a lot of it is life experiences. I've been dealing with a lot in my life. I had to deal with a lot, and I can talk about that more if you'd like a little
Yeah,
bit later.
I do.
Yeah, I've had to deal with a lot, so I'll just say it like right now.
Yeah.
So I actually have been in the foster care system before, and that was traumatic in my life. But it was also like a good thing because I got different perspectives. So I got to see what life was like on the other side, and so I got to see like how that kind of worked, and seeing that kind of motivated me as well. I lost a parent last year, 2 years ago, which was hard. My dad died of cancer, so that was tough,
I'm
really tough.
sorry.
It's okay.
That is very
It was
hard,
tough.
and you're very young to lose a
Mhm.
parent.
Yeah, it was very, very tough, and he was a big role model for me, and so that was hard. But I think it was just me wanting to do better. I think I was seeing like the bad and good parts of life and kind of having that support at the same time and just moving forward and having hope, honestly. Right now, I think that I'm very like love politics, very involved there, and I've seen like how bad it's gotten right now. And I think right now I've looked into like seeing people like almost like society saying that we don't have a future, that we don't have a hope, and I've been like, no, we got to push back about against that. And so I've just been driving myself to do that ever since. So yeah.
So the power so ho you found hope to be one of the most powerful forces
Mhm.
in your life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I just kept going.
And so is it fair to say that one of the things that you feel most passionate about is getting other people to embrace hope?
I think so. I think other people have to believe in themselves to really make change. And I think there's a lot of people that can make changes, they just don't know it yet. And I think they need to hear it from people. And that's why, like, I'm glad we're doing this episode right now. If anyone's watching, like, they hear the hope and they see it, and it'd be great to see someone go for it. Because there's a lot of people out there that can.
There you had a lot of strikes
Mm,
against you,
mhm.
right? And you dug deep and you figured out what you were capable of doing and you embraced your own hope and you put yourself out there. And with every success, you got more and more confident. So if you could do that, maybe other people could do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that is that what drives you?
I think so, yeah, and I think that it's important to share that. I think that's what kind of drove me was other people helping me, but also you can have the help from other people, but you have to help yourself as well, and I think that's important. It's hard to find that.
How do you do that? How have you
It's
done that?
how have I done that? That's a
Yeah.
great question. I think it's been more of honestly, it's more of just been believing in myself and pushing back. And I know that's like kind of like hard to describe, but it's like more like I kind of knew like not like what I really wanted to do, but also I kind of knew just like how to move forward and I just kept doing it. Like people would say, "Oh, you can't do this." And I'd be like, "Well, I want to prove you wrong." And so I just kept doing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a strong motivation wanting to
Mhm.
prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfectly valid motivation. How has it's one thing to for people to say, "Oh, I don't know if he'll ever be able to talk," and then you talk. And then, "I don't know if he'll ever get out of special ed," and you get out of special ed into general education. Or, "Surely he won't go to college," and you go to college. But you're not just any college student. You ran for student body president. You weren't just like, "I'm gonna go to college." You were like, I'm gonna be the top representative of students at that college."
Mhm.
What made you decide that you wanted to be student body president?
So I got here as a freshman. I wasn't really involved. Like I was a commuter student. Like I was the average commuter student. So I saw that life, what it was like not to be involved. And so I think I came in as a commuter student and wanted to really make new friends. I had been like, and I love my friends. I've been surrounded by my friends forever, and I just wanted to expand. Like I wanted to meet new people. And I came to college as an alone freshman. And so I had an interest in politics. Like I love politics. Like that kind of drove my interest. I was getting an interest in there. And so I was like, maybe I should join student government. So I like was walking to class one day. I literally was walking, I think it was like to my math class one day, and I saw someone at a table. I can't remember who it was, but they're like, "Oh, you should join student government. Like we have these applications open, and we have a program for called Beach Team, which is like an introductory student government program that would be really great for you to join and be there." And so I remember like going home and kind of thinking about should I join it? What should I do? Like this is scary. This is a big commitment to make. I'm just a freshman walking in, and I don't really have much to do because I just got here. And so I was like, okay, I'll go for beach team. I'll see how it was and how I like it. And so I remember going to beach team and showing up, and I think it was Halloween. We were like Halloween costumes and stuff, and that was
Oh, so
my
it was
first
early in
introduction.
your
It was
first
early in my
semester,
first
yeah.
year, so I was involved in ASI pretty early in my first year, and I remember learning about student government and all the different things that student government had to be involved in. I don't know if you know Matt, our former executive vice
I sure
president,
do.
but he was
Melendrez?
a really big inspiration for me to get involved there because he was in Beach Team. He led Beach Team as his community as a senator. And so I remember him telling me that you should run for senator. And I was thinking like over break and like over winter break. And I was like, maybe I should go for it and just try it and see what happened. And I did. I remember running for senator. I remember doing that first video of mine, and it still strikes me because I remember looking back and I'm like, wow, I was not confident at that time. I didn't know what I was saying. I was unsure of myself. If you look back and watch, my eyes are looking around in different places. And so I remember that. But it's just been that's kind of how I got involved, got thrown into student government, became a senator. And then I remember hearing that the USU was closing, and I was like, "Oh man, the USU is closing. This is gonna be a big year." The next year after I was done being senator, and so I joined Lobby Corps, which is one of our senator boards, like advocacy, like policy advocacy there. And I remember that giving me the opportunity to meet different students, and I started loving it. Like I started loving meeting how many different students we have. There's so many different people that you can meet every day, and I remember meeting them, like encouraging them to register to vote and getting them there. And so I was like, that was the moment when I was like, I want to run for student body president because we have such great students on our campus. They're such great students, and I want to change their lives and be a part of that. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna run for student body president. I'll put myself out there and see what happens. And I landed it. So
You know,
yeah.
one of the things I love most about this story is that you did it for all the right reasons. You weren't like, I want to be student body president because it'll look good on a resume, or I want to be student body president because that's a cool thing for me. You did it because you were meeting all these different kinds of students and you were like, I want to help these people. I want to represent these people. You did it out of an interest in being of service. I love that. And the other thing that I keep hearing you say is that you were you were nervous, you were intimidated, and you just did it anyway. Like, you have a unique or rare willingness to put yourself out there even when you're scared or even when you're not sure how it's gonna work. And that's super special because a lot of people, if they're not sure it's gonna work, they won't do it. But you're like, "Let's give it a shot."
Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
What's the worst that could
What's the worst that can
happen?
happen? I
And
lose. Yeah,
over
yeah.
and over again, it works out.
hmm
And if you didn't have the courage to put yourself out there, it wouldn't work out. Like for sure, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And you take these shots and you're fully prepared for them not to work out if they don't work out, and they do over and
It's
over
like miracles. I remember winning. It was 37 votes.
by
37
37
votes.
votes.
37 votes. It was crazy. It was the
That
craziest day of my entire life.
Every but you see, every time throughout this whole conversation, we keep saying, "That was crazy. That was crazy." Like, that keeps happening to you. This, like, crazy thing keeps happening to you. And part of the reason is because you're like, "Why not? Let's give it a shot."
Let's try it out.
That's
See what happens.
amazing, amazing. So what's next? What's the next thing you're gonna say, like, "Let's give it a shot"? There's a big, like, fake it till you make it. Even in your, even when you were talking about that first video, you were like, "I didn't know what I was doing," but you just did it
I
anyway.
just did anyway. I just wanted to see what would happen. Yeah.
You've got, like, an experimenter's mentality,
hmm
like, like, a lot of natural curiosity. What will happen if I try this?
It's like right now I'm coming up with an event next month. It's gonna be called Home at the Beach. And I've been like marketing this event. And again, it's like I've been going to these clubs. I'm like scared that it's like a hard market, but I just go anyway. Like I've been scared, but I just go in anyway and just try marketing to just see what happens next month.
Yeah,
So I just do
and
it.
how do people receive you when you go into these places that you are nervous to go into?
A lot of people really like it because they really don't have the opportunity to really see a student body president. And this is something that I've done my entire term. I've been very student focused. I host events consistently,
Yes, you do.
meeting different students and making it happen. And so a lot of students really, really appreciate actually seeing and being able to talk to the student body president because what opportunity or when do they get to do that? Not very often. And I hear it all the time. I'll be talking to students that don't even know what ASI is. And so I'm always encouraged to talk to them. And I just love it, and so I think that love and passion has gotten me to really talk and really be involved with these different students, and I just love doing it, and so I've been doing it, and students receive it very well.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Do you wanna say something about your event that's happening next month,
Yes,
Home at
I
the
would
Beach?
love to. So right now, the USU's closed. That's kind of going on. That's kind of happening right now. It's a big, big bummer, but I think it's also a great opportunity to really engage our students. And I've been working really, really hard to make this event happen. And I was like, we have to engage our students in some different fashion, in some way. And so I was like, why don't we do an athletic event? Because a lot of our students don't really go to athletic events. They don't know that they're free. It's something that we can do and it's possible. And so I was thinking, like, how do we do it in the best way possible?
And the pyramid's
And
still
the
working.
pyramid's still
Yeah.
working, and everybody knows our pyramid at Long Beach State,
Yeah, it's
so it's
iconic.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, "That's probably our best option," and so I moved forward and worked really hard with ASI, Beach Pride events and alumni and other directions to get the event happening, and I can happily say that we're reaching almost 100 alumni reservations, which is great
Wow.
for this event. This is great, and so now I think it's just pushing it out to students, but it's really giving students something to do during this hard time. That's hard, I think, for any student body president to go through a transition, let alone to have to go through a union being closed and students upset about that. But actually being able to deliver and show students, hey, I actually did something for you all. I gave you guys something during this time is amazing.
And it's you call it home at the beach
Hmm.
because we don't have a homecoming.
Yep.
And so
Hmm.
this is like the replacement for
This is the
homecoming.
replacement for homecoming.
And so when will it be?
It will be on February 19th from 6 to 10 p.m.
And for what game?
It's going to be the UCI men's basketball game.
So for men's
So it's going to be
basketball.
a rival game.
So
Yeah.
you really want students to come out in full
Mhm.
force. And why will this game be special? Why is it an event?
Because I think it gives students an opportunity to go out and have fun, but also I think the alumni aspect's huge. I think that students don't really get an opportunity to network. I don't think that students have that really opportunity. So having the opportunity is nice. And then just for a night of fun, I think it's a great opportunity, especially right now.
And what is your favorite part of being at Cal State Long Beach? What do you love most about being here?
I think it's the opportunity to be here. I think it's great. I think being close to home and like being familiar with Long Beach is great, but I love being able to meet the different students that we have, the different clubs and organizations that we have, the different students and different people. Every day I meet someone different and it's great. Like I hear different stories all the time and everyone is so vastly different. And I think to be a part of that and have the opportunities just amazing. And I couldn't ask for anything better.
I have one more question for you. If you were talking to a brand new, and you probably do, but if you were talking to a brand new Cal State Long Beach student who was nervous and just got here and like trying to figure out how to do college and what to do, what would be the top piece of advice that you would offer a new student who's trying to figure things out?
I would tell them first that they want to get involved. I think getting involved is huge. I think being a commuter student limits you to what you really can do on campus. But I'd also say like get involved in an area that they're interested in. My area of interest was politics. That's what I wanted to do. But someone might be a student that's interested in art, so maybe get involved in an art club. Maybe meet some friends in like the art class. But I think it's really getting involved early because if you get involved early, you meet friends, but also you build connections for life that you need like after college. I think the point is you come to college, but you also want the degree. Like that's the end goal. That's the mission to get that degree. And I think if you have that network and those friends to really like network off of you and then you enjoy your time like that club or whatever you're doing, that's key. And I always tell students get involved early, get involved now because you will not regret it later.
How do you get involved?
I think the best way of getting involved is one way you can do it is just going on like so there's like different clubs that we have on campus. You could literally search up like CSULB art and there'll be like different like art clubs that come up. Like that's just an example. If you're interested in arts and crafts, like that's what you could do. But it's just I think it's
Just show up.
just show up. I think it's just showing up and I think that's the way of getting involved. And it's hard. It's hard because it's hard. It's scary. It's like, oh, I'm new here. Like I'm scared here. Like I'm not sure of myself, but really showing up, it helps.
And you're
Helps.
like the poster boy for, this is scary, but I'm going to do it anyway. So for someone who is feeling shy or overwhelmed or nervous, how would you recommend they overcome that so that they could just um, do it anyway?
I think that they have to believe in themselves first, and I think that's hard because it's like, I know that I'm shy and nervous, and that can be a challenge, but I really think it's believing in yourself, and I think that it's having that support as well. Maybe look back at your friends, ask your friends maybe, "Do you believe in me?" Like, stuff like that, but I think the person has to believe in themselves. They have to have a mission, and that's hard, but it has to be that way. I feel like that's the only way you get through. You could have all the support, but like me, if I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be here, and so I think you have to believe in yourself. That's key to anything.
I feel like that's the perfect place for us to stop because that's so powerful and inspiring. So I'm going to stop and just say thank you, Sonny. I always get so much out of our conversations, and this has been another gem. Thank you for what you do for our campus, and thank you for our conversation today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.